Now that you have daily routines to do in the morning, in the evening, and a pain journal, I want to show you how you can make these things into habits. So why is it so important that you make all of these changes into habits? Well, firstly, it's because success doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from being consistent. So if you do the right stuff over time, you're going to have a much higher likelihood of being successful with your social venture. And consistent improvements compound over time to create massive changes. So by doing these incremental improvements, by getting better at your daily pain journal, getting better at your morning and evening routines, over months, you're going to create such massive improvements that you're just so much better than you used to be, because all of those small and incremental improvements compound on each other. And lastly, you're going to see the world differently, which is a really good thing, because your lens, the way that you see the world, is going to change based on the habits that you pick up. And by picking up the right habits, like daily affirmations in the morning, summarizing your day in the evening, and thinking about pains throughout the day, you're going to bring yourself above most people and make it much more likely that your social venture and that you yourself are successful. So now, what are those 6 things that you can do to make something a habit? The first is commit to 30 days. So 3 to 4 weeks is all you need to make a habit automatic. If you can make it through that initial conditioning phase, it becomes much easier to sustain. And make it daily. Consistency is critical if you want to make a habit stick. Do it every day, each week. Doing it a couple times a week is going to make it much harder to form a habit and easier for you to make excuses not to do it. Activities you do every few days are much trickier to lock in as habits than something that you do every day. So start simple. Don't try to overcomplicate and change your life all in one day. It's very easy to get overmotivated and take on too much, but that's going to be when you stop doing things. You're going to fail because you're just overloaded. So start with something that takes less than 30 days or 30 minutes per day, and then build from there. And throughout that 30 days, make sure you remind yourself, because around 2 weeks into your commitment, it's going to be really easy to forget. So place reminders throughout your life and execute your habit each day, because if you miss a few days, that totally defeats the purpose of creating a habit to begin with. So set up Google Calendar reminders, set up reminders on your cell phone, put a sticky on the mirror, do whatever you need to do to remind yourself to get and create these things into habits and do them every day. And the next is stay consistent. So the more consistent your habit is, the easier it's going to be to stick with. So as I've mentioned a couple times during the daily pain journal and the daily rituals, I've talked about doing things at the same time, in the same place, because when you have cues like time of day, place, and circumstances that are the same in each case, it's much easier to stick with an action and create a habit. And finally, and could potentially be most importantly, get a buddy. If you can find somebody who will go along with you and keep you motivated and accountable and keep you from feeling like quitting, it's so much easier to create a habit because you have that moral pressure that you're providing to them and that they're providing to you, and you never want to let somebody down. So get a buddy if you can. I would highly recommend it. It's going to make it that much easier for you to build these things as habits. So with that, you now understand what you should be doing every morning, every evening, and whenever you want to schedule your daily pain journal. And you now know how to make those things into habits. So with those daily routines put in place, let's dive into pain brainstorming, and we can start coming up with some social venture pains that you can start solving.